All right, so today I'm going to be talking about how I made the man in the mirror change and how I was able to forgive him in a way. And that might not make sense right now, but by the end of this video, you're going to understand and it may resonate with exactly you're going through right now. So let's rewind a bit. When I was younger, I was always the smallest guy in the room, like 99% of the time. Every single time that I walked in a room, like I said, smallest guy there, smallest person there. And to give you guys a gauge, I was around 4'11", 90 pounds as a freshman in high school. So as you can imagine, I became a punching bag to a lot of jokes. And because of that, it compounded on top of this stress of trying to figure out who I was as a person, regular life stresses, school, anything going wrong, you name it. Like, it just compounded on top of everything that I was already going through. So this led me to, one, being more down on myself, a bit more to the point to where I started to truly hate who I saw in the mirror. I started to really hate the person looking back at me. And it wasn't until years and years of me enduring this that I decided to actually make something change. But before that, since, like I said, I just hated myself and I didn't choose to change, I kind of sat in this echo chamber, is what I like to call it a lot of the time, where I just sat in this position that I didn't want to be in. This led me to being in a position that I knew I didn't want to be in, or staying in that position that I knew I never wanted to be in the first place. And me taking in all of this negativity from the outside and it being amplified by the negativity that I was already feeling on the inside, or the hatred that I was already feeling towards myself on the inside. And it led to me being ridiculously depressed. I'm talking so depressed, so down, so helpless, so hopeless in this situation that the only thing that I felt like I could do to control it was to hide away. So that's what I started to do. I started to cover up myself everywhere I went. Because like I said, I would have all of these people around me making fun of me, my friends, my family, my teachers, waiters, waitresses. Literally everywhere that I went, I was reminded of the one thing that I hated the most, and that was my body, right? And like I said, I would cover myself up because I just couldn't stand seeing myself, and I couldn't stand the fact that other people could see just how small I was. So I hid. I wore hoodies, I wore long sleeve shirts, I wore baggier clothes just to give the illusion, or in hopes to give the illusion, that I wasn't as small as I actually was. And man, I'm talking, my forearms were tiny, man. Like it looked like SpongeBob, no joke. And so I can laugh about it now, but back then it wasn't funny at all. And it was actually emasculating in a way, because I would see all these other boys or men around me that would be able to just walk freely, like wear whatever they wanted. They could go to the pool, go to the beach, walk into a room. They wouldn't be made fun of. People would actually respect them. People would actually listen to them. And then there was me, just this tiny dude that nobody takes seriously. And, that hurt. But despite me being in that pain, I never really did much about it, but kind of just soak around in sadness. But eventually, years down the line, to where I was already feeling depressed, already dealing with suicidal thoughts, suicidal ideology, just being really, really down on myself. I saw this video on YouTube, and it was a video that was named the benefits of doing 100 push-ups a day or 50 push-ups a day, something like that. And I'm like playing Apex Legends in the middle of the night. I think I was playing Apex Legends ranked in the middle of the night when I was younger. And I watched the video and they explained the benefits of doing these push-ups, and I kind of liked what I heard, and I was like, oh, maybe this could change it, you know? Like maybe this could help. Maybe this could be the thing that changes everything, right? So I started doing push-ups in secret, obviously, because one, I'm younger, and two, I'm embarrassed because, you know, I've been bullied my whole life. Like, I'm trying to change something. I don't want people to see me. So I'm like locking myself in rooms doing push-ups. Eventually watching like Chris Harriet and Bully Juice videos. Started doing this calisthenic kind of journey for a minute. Got pretty good at it. Made some significant progress. And then eventually I got into an actual gym or a YMCA because I begged my mom to get me a YMCA membership, right? Because I was still in school at the time. So I'm like, hey, Mom, can you get this? And she's like, okay. So started going to the YMCA, and I started to make a pretty good amount of progress. I gained around like 10 pounds, 20, maybe 10, 20 pounds. I don't know. It was a pretty decent amount of weight, but I started off really, really small. So I'm like 110 pounds. But I'm 110 pounds, but I knew what I did to get to that point. I knew how committed I was. I knew how disciplined I was, and I knew how much I was showing up for myself. So, you know, I was this 110 pound, 120 pound guy. Okay. I was this 110, 120 pound guy, but I had a ridiculous amount of confidence, and it was genuine. You know, I wasn't putting a mask on anymore to hide the truth of how I actually felt about myself. I wasn't, you know, laughing about jokes that were directed at me so I would like not be picked on even more. You know, like I wasn't putting on this mask so people wouldn't see how weak I was. I actually took the mask on, and I genuinely felt strong. I genuinely felt confident in myself. So I went from hiding away, being like ridiculously insecure, having no real confidence, to being 110 pounds walking around with a tank top on for no reason when it's cold. Like, that's how much of a shift that it was. But I say all that to say, and to like solidify this point that I always try to make. And this journey isn't just about getting bigger. It's not just about gaining muscle. It's not just about being huge, right? Like that's the cherry on top. Like that's what entices you at the start. But as you can see in this fast-tracked journey upwards to this point, I didn't gain the confidence in myself. I didn't gain the self-respect. I didn't gain the discipline just from the muscle alone. I gained it from the process of becoming a person who has that thing, right? And that's the biggest thing, because in reality, you could have an amazing physique. And this also happened to me. You can have an amazing physique and then still end up hating yourself, still end up not having that self-respect, because you stop developing yourself as a whole, and then you just hyper focus on the gym. And this is what happened to me when I went to college, right? I'll go over it pretty quick because I made a ton of videos on it already. But when I was in college, I was like the heaviest that I've ever been. I was making a ton of progress in the gym. I had a great physique, you know. I had things going on, like I was doing this here and there, but I was skipping my classes. I was doing drugs. I was going to parties. I was doing all this stupid, degenerate college kid stuff that is deemed normal, right? And this led to me being jacked, right? Having a great physique, looking the best that I had ever in my life at that point, and looking in the mirror and still hating the man looking back at me, right? So I know I kind of ran through that pretty quick, but that's really the point that I wanted to get across. Like, the only way that you can really get past this wall of self-hatred, or the only way that you can get past is the point to where you don't respect yourself and get to a spot to where you're actually confident, you actually respect yourself, and you're secure in your own skin, is by stepping into a version of you that feels that way, right? And this is the case with anything, right? If you want to get married, or if you want to have the girl of your dreams, right? What does the person, or what does a version of you do? How does he look? How does he act? X, Y, and Z that has the woman of his dreams, right? Same thing with getting better at a sport or getting better at the gym, whatever it may be. It's like, what does a version of you that is the best? What does he do every single day, day in, day out? How does he think? How does he act? X, Y, and Z. Like, write it out. Step into his shoes, walk in his shoes until you fill them out. And once you do fill them out, you're going to look back and realize, oh, I am this person, right? So that's the video, man. If you guys want any help with anything, shoot me a text on Instagram. I wanted to make this video, or I actually did make this video on the roof of my gym, but it was so windy, it was so loud, and the audio was so trash. I had to remake it. So I hope you guys are able to resonate with this, connect with it, benefit from it in some way, shape, or form. I love you guys. Jesus loves you too. And we'll talk to you guys another time.